using revised Bloom's taxonomy. So first part is that whatever topic we are going to deal for the students in the class, we have to go with the template. So first point we have evocation. So evocation, whatever topic. So today suppose if I am going to take eigenvalues and eigenvectors, if relevant, if the faculty knows a very good application of that, we can project that as an evocation. Correct? So here in case of eigenvalues, where it will be used. So that becomes an evocation part. So even before we start off with the topic, we have to come up with an evocation so that the students will be able to understand what topic the faculty will be handling in today's class through our evocation. So what I will do while we do here in this class is that I have shown you here two pictures of Tacoma Bridge. So how the collapse has happened after the construction of the bridge after 4 months. So how this particular thing has happened. So here in 1940 this bridge has been constructed. This bridge is called as Tacoma Bridge. So in this bridge they used to make use of this way and they will be walking through this bridge, they will be making use of the bridge. So like whenever we make use of the bridge slightly moves like this. So there will be an oscillation. So that oscillation, what we call here is called waves, right? So it will come in the form of a wave. So whenever that happens here, right? So now the frequency, so when the wave is moving like this, the frequency of the wind, right? The frequency of the wind, it is being close to the frequency of the bridge. So the frequency of the bridge as well as the frequency of the wind is being close together so that this collapse happened here, right? So therefore, if it should not have happened here, the frequency of the wind that is being close with that the frequency of the bridge should be avoided. So if it has to be avoided, here the eigenvalue, it must be a dominant one. So if the dominant values of eigenvalues are used here, then this collapsation would not have to occur. So why it happened here is that the explanation that is clearly given. See here, this bridge is crashed into the water below, and one explanation for the crash is that the oscillation of the bridge, the caused by the frequency of the wind being too close to the natural frequency of the bridge. So that is why this collapsation has occurred, and this natural frequency of the bridge is the eigenvalue of small magnitude of the system that models the bridge. So this is why eigenvalues are very important in case of the engineers are concerned. And likewise, when we play the keyboard, right, musical instrument, we have the keyboard. So the resonant frequency of that keyboard, if it gets matched with the frequency of the keys which we are going to play, only then we will be able to get an output with a better synced noise. So there also, knowingly or unknowingly, this eigenvalue plays a major role. And also in the design of car stereo system, again there also the vibrations that make us reduce the sound of a music is again this eigenvalue. So this eigenvalue plays a very important role in our day-to-day life. So that I have taken it as an evaluation. So if you want to explore more knowledge on that, we can just Google it and find out much more applications of this eigenvalue. So after giving an education to the students, what we should do is that we should give general objective. So the general objective is that for the 45 minutes duration of a class, whatever topic we are going to cover, that we have to state here, right? So I have given it to be as understand the concept of eigenvalues and eigenvectors and apply it for a symmetric matrices. So here you see the word here have cognitive process dimension and knowledge dimension. So here I have made use of the verbs as understand and apply. So whenever we call the general objective for our class, we have to see to that whether we have made use of this cognitive process dimension. That is very, very important. In this case, we should not make use of the knowledge dimension. Cognitive process dimension is important. See here, understand and apply. See, if I am going to make use of these two verbs as understand, see, just I am going to understand the concept of eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and I will apply the understood concept of that for a symmetric matrices. So which means that beyond this apply, I should not take the class at all. So until the apply part of the cognitive process dimension, I will be carrying out the class. So beyond that, we have analyze, evaluate, create. I cannot go further. So why I cannot go further is that I have made use of only understand and apply. That is only till the third category of my cognitive process dimension. So able to understand that. So after this is my overall topic for the particular class. And now, what will be the students learning within this entire topic for 15 minutes duration? So now the students will be able to identify the matrix as symmetric or a non-symmetric matrix. So here, towards the end of this, these are called as specific objectives. Right? So 3 subtopics I am going to cover here. So what for this UC? So U is for understand category, which is in the cognitive process dimension, and the C stands for the conceptual term, which is under the knowledge dimension. So here, look at this verb, identify. So identify, on the other day, I have given you a table. So this identify verb, you can find it in main words or in the auxiliary one. Alright? So identify, it will come under the category of understand. On the other day also I told you, just it is not just because of this word and writing it is understand or understand concept. So my intention is that the student will be able to just identify whether a given matrix is symmetric or not. It is only in the understanding level. So he should understand the concept of it. So that is why I have mapped this as understand with concept. Right? So we will have to be very careful while doing the 2D mapping. So whatever specific objective is same as the question what we will be taking for the end semester or for our TAT exam 1, 2, 3. Again, the second point is that the students will be able to construct a characteristic equation for the given symmetric matrix. So again, after identification of whether a matrix is symmetric or not, then he will be able to construct or frame. It is just the formation of a characteristic equation. So here also, since because it is just construct or formation of a characteristic equation, so understanding level is enough. We are not going to apply anything else here. So that is why again it is mapped as understand with the concept. Alright? After that, third point is that after forming or after constructing the characteristic equation, the third point which I will be covering here is that the students will be able to compute the eigenvalues and eigenvectors for the symmetric matrices. So see here, I have mapped this to be as applied with the procedural knowledge dimension. So why I have mapped here applied the procedural knowledge dimension is that since because he is going to compute something, right, for a given symmetric matrices. So when he is asked to compute a particular item or a product or whatever may be a project, he has to make use of certain things and apply it. So you will have to see to that to what depth or to what level that particular question has been asked. So that is why it is applied with it. So why it is C and not a C? Okay, C is just a concept. Concept is I will have to go step by step in order to get my eigenvalues and eigenvectors for whatever may be a kind of matrix. So which means that I will be giving it as a procedure, right? So that is why I say here as apply procedure. Able to understand these 3 points. So now first identifiers, here we have the cognitive process dimension, here we have the knowledge dimension. So first point how we can map is that understand concept. I will have to look where is understand and where is concept here. So understand is here, conceptual knowledge is here. So the mapping point is this. So the first specific objective I can map at this point. And the second one is that here also just formation of equation. So it is all only in the understand level. I am not going to take anything else from that, and I am not going to calculate or do anything. So therefore, again it is understand concept. So that is why understand concept here. And the third point, which is apply procedure. So therefore, you just look into this apply column, come on to the procedural knowledge, so map. So this is what we mean by the RBT. Two-dimensional mapping. So got clear at this point, two-dimensional RBT mapping? Yes. So it is not just because of this verb or word we are going to map. It is not like that. So once if the question has been framed, see to that to what level we expect the answer. So that particular thing has to be projected here, and that accordingly it has to be mapped. It is not just because of the verb we are using. And again I will say that you just go back. First one. Go to general objective. My general objective here is understand and apply. So these are the two verbs making which we will find it in cognitive process dimension. So here you should not write it as something like concentrate or like whatever thing we have here, you will have to make use of the main thing, come down, and while framing the specific objective, you can make use of the main words or the auxiliary words. So that I have been circulated through a mail, you can just have a reference for that table, come down. So third point we will be covering as revised Bloom's taxonomy. That is mapping. So I am sure that you will be having a clear cut idea of how to map the questions. And next is we will have to teach the student methodology of what has to be taught in that particular class. So first started with an education. Now suppose if I am going to teach the students how to obtain the eigenvalue and eigenvector for a given symmetric or a non-symmetric matrix. First we will have to tell what is a symmetric matrix. You must be in a position to differentiate between a symmetric matrix and a non-symmetric matrix. That I hope we will be doing it in the class. And after the identification, we will have to tell them how to frame the characteristic equation. So it is not just only for a 3 by 3. What are all the possibilities? We will have to give the general procedure. So first thing we will have to give the general procedure. After that we can move on to the problem, and if any tips or shortcuts methods are there, you can just include that so that the students will find it easy to solve the problems. So here see characteristic equation. So the matrix should be a matrix of order n, and the characteristic equation of the matrix can be had with the help of the term as A minus lambda I determinant r is equal to 0. And for example, if the matrix is a 2 by 2, we need not expand this in order to get the characteristic equation. We need not waste our time. Instead, if it is a 2 by 2, we can go by this shortcut method, where S1 it is sum of the main diagonal elements and S2 is the determinant of the matrix. And if it is a 3 by 3 matrix, we have the characteristic equation as this, where S1 is sum of the main diagonal elements, S2 is the sum of the minus of the main diagonal elements, and S3 is the determinant of the matrix. Okay, after telling these steps, next thing is that after framing a characteristic equation, he has to obtain the eigenvalue. So what is all about the eigenvalue and all, we will have to tell the students. So after telling that, we will have to give him a procedure how to find the eigenvalues. So here, first thing, procedure is you would have had the characteristic equation of given matrix. That is the first point. And when we solve this characteristic equation, we will be able to get the roots, and those roots are called as the eigenvalues. Right? So depending upon the nature, that is nature, if it is a quadratic, we will have 2 roots, if it is cubic, we will have 3 roots, and so on. And the third point is that for corresponding to each and every value of eigen, we will have to find out the eigenvector for different values of lambda. And that we can get it with the help of a minus lambda I into x is equal to 0, provided that always we will have to mention that x is a non-zero vector. That is very, very important. And now we will give up, the teacher will be solving a problem in the class. So the first, as soon as the problem is given, we have started for a symmetric matrix. So we have to check out whether a matrix is symmetric or not. So we will have to tell the students. So that they will be seeing the positions here, and they will be telling that this is a symmetric matrix. So after that, he will be able to, since because this is a 3 by 3 matrix, he will be able to get a characteristic equation. So after that, he will be finding out all S1, S2, S3 compound. So this will be the characteristic equation. With this, that point gets over. And next is we will have to find the eigenvalue. So to find the eigenvalue, since this is a cubic equation, we will go by synthetic division and we will try to find it. So the roots here are 1, 2. So these roots are distinct. Right? So to find the eigenvalues of the corresponding eigenvalues, we have this in the beginning itself, we have told it. So that we have when lambda is equal to 1, we can just substitute over here, we get it. So there are many ways of solving and getting the eigenvector. So of which the cofactor method will be the easiest way. So we can go by the cofactor method. So here by cofactor method, the eigenvectors are minus 1, 0, 1 for when lambda is equal to 1. And next is when lambda is 2, by cofactor method, again we have the corresponding eigenvector to be as 0, 1, 0. And next is for the third thing, we have the corresponding eigenvector to be as 1, 0, 1. So this is how we find out the eigenvalues and its corresponding eigenvectors for any given matrix, irrespective of a symmetric matrix or a non-symmetric matrix. So as soon as a problem has been there for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever may be your duration. So next, if you do that one problem with very clarity inside the class for the students, it is more than sufficient. And then we can give the problems to the students to work out. Right? Come down, sir. Again, come on. Next. See here, little bit up. Little bit up. Little bit. Fifth point, sir. Fifth point. See here. Individual solving the problem. So since it is an analytical paper, we will have to make the students to work. So here what we can do is that we can just give 3 or 4 problems in the class, and it is not necessary that all the 4 problems has to be solved by all the students. We can ask them to sit in a group and or in bench wise, however we do it, we can do it, and we can ask the students to just, so first group can solve the first problem, second group can solve the second problem, third one can do the third problem. So within no time they will also be able to do it. After doing each one group has to do only one problem. After completing that problem, they can verify their answers, right? And they can also have the cross verification with their peer groups, right? So that kind of a thing can be done. That is at the since because only one problem has been done by the teacher and the student has to do it, we have given simple problems first. So in order to create an interest towards the subject or interest towards the topic, we have given very simple problems for the students in order to motivate them. And next is that we slightly increase the difficulty level of the students. So here what we can do is that again 3 problems, 3 groups three groups if there are there. So we can give each group one problem. And also nothing wrong with the answers over here. So let them cross check whether their answers is right or wrong. So they will have to work out, they will have to undergo certain procedures, only then they will be getting whether the answers are right or wrong. So in case, suppose if these answers are not given, so some students will be reluctant to ask whether their answers are right or wrong. So in order to avoid all those things and in order to motivate the students to have more attraction towards the subject, let us give the answers, nothing wrong. So they will also take 5 to 10 minutes and they will be able to solve. If in case, if a single student in a group cannot solve, they will be discussing among their peer groups and they can solve the problem. After that, next is, okay. So now what we can do is that we can ask the students questions or stimulating kind of questions in order to test whether they have understood that particular day concept or not. So there are many ways. It is left up to the teacher. So the teacher can decide whether you can give a quiz or multiple choice or simply posting a questions and kindling their minds to come up with the answers. Whatever thing you want to keep and do it in a creative manner, so that students will be more attracted towards that particular subject or topic. So what I have done in my today's class is that I have given a problem, right? I have given a problem and I have given the solution for the problem with the list steps. So that strategy I will follow. So certain steps has been listed out. I will ask the students to fill up those missing steps. So if he is able to fill up those missing steps, then it is understood that the student have understood the concept, right? So see here, I have given a matrix here and I will ask the students can find this. I will give the answer and I will ask whether these values are correct or wrong. So they can check it out, right? After that, see here again, I will give the characteristic equation and this the students has to do it. After this, I ask them to solve and they will solve it. And next is that, see, when lambda is equal to 0, we will ask the student to find out. So one part I will give for them, right? So 3 eigenvalues are here. So lambda is equal to 0, I have given the working procedure. Wait. So for lambda is equal to 3 and 15, what I will do is that I will ask the student to solve and get it. So one value or two values we can give and we can ask the other thing to do the student, so that he will be getting interest towards the subject. So now he will do it and he will do this. So this is one way of evaluating the student with this kind of a strategy. So the strategy is in the hands of the teacher and we can have our own strategy to evaluate the students whether they have understood the concept or not. After that, since because it is an analytical subject, we can give the flow chart. So flow chart in the sense, whatever topic has been dealt in today's class, we will just list it out in a flow chart way. Right? So now we have started for a symmetric matrix and our intention is to find out the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So for which, what are the needed things? You put it in a step-by-step procedure in a flow chart. So we need a characteristic equation. For that we need S1, S2, S3. So the students will be telling everything. We need not do it. They will be telling by themselves. And characteristic equations. After that we will have to solve how to get the eigenvalue. So for each and every corresponding eigenvalue we will have to get the eigenvector. So these are the steps involved in finding out the eigenvalues and eigenvectors for any kind of a given matrix. So the students themselves will be able to do. So what for this flowchart if you ask, suppose in case for the test or for the end semester examination, if the student just goes through the flowchart, it will be enough for him to refresh what are the things that would have been taken in that particular class. Need not to go by problem, he can have a general idea. So for that this flowchart will help. Alright? And next, we can also give what are the references available for that particular topic. We can give it and we can get the students to, you can just do some more problems from these textbooks and you can find out what are all the various applications of this particular topic in day-to-day life, and that is how we can just end up with the class. So any queries you can ask me. So only thing is that you should be very careful whenever you frame the general objective and the specific objective. So as soon as we complete this general objective and the specific objective, mapping of 2D becomes very easy. Ma'am, any clarifications? Am I very clear here? Yes? Or anything else to be clarified here? Thank you. Thank you.